Ever since coronavirus came sweeping through our country and affected our community, our phones have been lighting up. Hi, I'm Darren Findling from the Probate Pro, and our law firm assists people in probate and trust-related issues. Now, the phone calls we're receiving are people that had not done planning in the past, or maybe they've done some planning and they want updates to their plans. Maybe they created a few documents and now with COVID affecting their community, they want to update them. So let's talk a little bit about planning. What does it mean to do an estate plan? Do you have to spend a lot of money to do it? And how do you actually begin this process? Well, the first thing, the most important thing is to take action, to begin. Pick up the phone, call us. We'll answer any questions, whether you're going to become a client of ours or not. We'll try to help you and put you in the right direction. There's also some free documents and forms that we can provide to those people of low income or those who are unable to afford the ability to retain a qualified lawyer to create the estate plan. But begin. Start having those discussions. Historically, it used to be we'd get these phone calls when people were planning on going on a trip overseas, or maybe they were diagnosed with an illness. But with COVID-19, now everyone's mortality really is the focus. There's a lot of time to ruminate over these issues, and there's a lot of anxiety. So how do we relieve that anxiety? We relieve the anxiety by doing some preparing. In the same way that you went out to the grocery store and you made sure that you had sufficient food, let's make sure that your estate planning documents are up to date. Let's dissect it. First, we want to make sure that as part of your estate plan, you have what we call medical patient advocacies. These are documents that allow you to nominate a third person, another person, to serve as your advocate, your patient advocate, in the event that you're unable to make decisions regarding your well-being. So imagine if you're in a situation where you're unable to communicate your wishes, you can actually specify exactly how you'd like to be treated in those circumstances. Now, with a patient advocacy, this document is really stringently required, with stringent requirements for purposes of signing and executing. It's actually more difficult and has more stringent requirements than a contract or a will. There's all sorts of witnessing rules about who can and cannot witness this document. But most importantly, a close family member or somebody that is a medical provider cannot execute the witnessing part of this document. So make sure that if you're going to do this, that you're with a qualified attorney. And I know witnessing is very difficult in this particular moment because of COVID. We can't have typical witnessing and notarizations occurring. And in Michigan, there are some electronic bases for notarizations, but those generally apply to the mortgage industry. And there's an act or a bill that's trying to make its way through the state to allow for some emergency use of Zoom and other technologies to allow for witnessing as well as for notarization. At the moment, though, as I'm recording this, it doesn't exist. Another important document is a power of attorney. This document authorizes another person to have powers in the event that you're unable to make decisions regarding other things, typically financial decisions. We want to use this document very carefully because you don't want to simply turn over your powers to somebody while you're functioning and quite healthy. We want those powers to spring into effect upon incapacity. In addition, we want you to have a will. Well, why is a will so critical? Well, it's important because if you die without a will, you have failed to be able to identify how you want your financial affairs to be distributed upon your death, as well as who would be in charge of administering and taking care of your affairs. Within a will, you can also identify if you have minor children or others that require guardianship or conservatorship care, or maybe to serve as your trustee of their assets until they're an adult. Now, also important to know, in Michigan, you actually can designate, in the same way that you'd sign a will, you can designate without a will who you'd want to be in charge of your children as guardian or conservator in the event of your death. You can actually do that nomination. Michigan statute provides for that. And as we're rounding out this estate plan, we are also recommending for those who have certain circumstances financially to consider creating a trust. A trust is a great vehicle that can provide a lot of useful tools, specifically avoiding the complexity and the time associated with probate. But it's not just the creation of these documents, it's the creation of these documents and then the funding. So it's this entire plan that you want to fully execute correctly to be able to take full advantage of what we mean when we're effectively estate planning. Because if you create a beautiful document on paper and either that document doesn't work because it's not signed or executed correctly, or you fail to put your assets into those documents to make the documents have meaning or value or importance, then it's really just a waste of time. Now, my office, the Probate Pro, is willing to talk to people, and I stated this at the beginning. Whether you have the financial means of hiring a lawyer or not, you can use the phone number at the bottom. We'll try to put you in the right direction. We'll try to help you be able to appropriately plan within your circumstances. And for those who have the ability to retain an attorney, now is the time. We really don't want you waiting until it's too late. We know, as we're reading in the newspapers and watching on television, how quickly the illness can progress from a slight fever to a real serious condition. Plan now. 833-PROBATE. You're welcome to call us. Our phone is available to assist people through this very difficult time. I appreciate your time.